In this video, I'm going to show you the fastest legit way to unlock camos in Black Ops 6 Zombies. I know there's a bunch of guides out there advocating using glitches to make yourself invincible, or backing out and saving and quitting so you can repeat rounds to get like the most optimal number of zombies. I'm not showing you anything like that. I just want to show you how to make progress towards your camos as efficiently as possible while also just playing the game normally. So none of this is going to get patched out or anything like that. In Zombies, the camos are arranged into first of all 9 military camos for every weapon, and then you unlock those usually by getting headshots, by getting critical kills. There are a couple of exceptions, melee weapons and launchers, you just need to get kills, you don't need to get critical kills. But for most weapons, you need eventually 2,000 critical kills to unlock that first set of military camos. Then there's 2 special camo unlocks, and they'll have special challenges for that specific gun. Usually it's something like attach this ammo mod and get so many kills, or get so many kills without reloading, stuff like that. Those 2 camos, when you unlock them, you can actually then apply them to any weapon that you've also completed all the military camos on, which is pretty great. Then you get the Mastery Camo, so you can unlock gold after you've unlocked every other camo on a weapon. And that one, it's always the same challenge. You'll just have to get 10 kill streaks 15 times, which is really easy in Zombies. Then once you've completed gold on every weapon within a class, like this is my XMG, so once I've got gold on this, that'll be the 3rd LMG that I've got gold on. That will unlock the Opal camo challenges for LMGs. And then for that one, it's a little bit tricky. You have to kill 30 special zombies with the weapon, which is basically manglers, and that can be a little bit of a pain, but I'll talk more about that later. Then once you complete Opal on every weapon in the game, so 33 weapons, once Season 1 comes out, by the way, and they add new weapons, you'll actually be able to miss a couple of weapons if you want, which is pretty nice. But once you've done that, so you've unlocked Opal on all 33 weapons, then you can unlock the Afterlife camo challenges. That one's actually quite easy. You just have to get a bunch of kills without getting hit, which is quite easy in Zombies. It's 20 kills without getting hit, and then you have to do that 10 times. That's quite easy. You can use things like decoys or monkey bombs or ether shroud, loads of different things to stop you from getting hit, or just run away. And then finally, once you've done that on 33 different weapons, you'll unlock the Nebula challenges, which is the Mastery Camo for Zombies. And for that one, you need to get 10 elite kills. The elite zombies right now are the Abominations on Liberty Falls or the Amalgams on Terminus. It sounds really tricky, but if you do the Liberty Falls Easter egg up to the step where you put the canisters down and you're summoning the special zombies and you're meant to trap them in the canisters, you can actually just keep repeating that step. Don't ever put the canister down. So open up the portal, kill the zombie that comes out of it, and then on the next round you can just keep trying it again, failing that step, but then you can complete it in 10 rounds, which isn't that bad at all. And that's all of the camos in the game. So what's the most efficient way, first of all, to get all of those headshots? So we're going to be doing all of this on Liberty Falls. I think that's the easiest place to grind for camos. And in terms of loadout, you don't really need to worry about too much. Obviously, make sure that you've got the weapon that you want to be unlocking camos on. Make sure that that's available. Or you could potentially have the weapon that you want to unlock be one of the wall buys, and check out my video on how to set up specific loadouts for the wall buys. Things on Liberty Falls like the Marine SP or the GS45, you can easily buy off the wall and then get it at a higher rarity fairly early on, which is pretty cool. But in terms of everything else, decoys are super useful just to distract zombies if you need it. I like using ether shroud so you can go invisible when you need to. That's super helpful, but you don't need to worry about much else. In this video I don't actually have those things, but that's because I just prestiged, so I don't have things like ether shroud unlocked at this point. And that's actually another good quick thing to note. Some weapons, like the AS Val for example, you don't unlock until level 55 just before you prestige. When you get to those weapons, it's a good idea to prioritize getting them done. Leave the weapons that you unlock straight away, because you're going to be able to come back to them when you loop back round to the prestige. So I would always, whenever you're picking a new weapon to do some camo grinding on, pick something that you've only just unlocked in that prestige, because you'll lose access to it. And you probably don't want to waste unlock tokens just on weapons that you only want to get the camos for, you don't want to end up using. Anyway, so now you're in a game, and the obvious thing to do is to start getting kills and just make sure all of your kills are headshots. This should just go without saying. You're trying to get 2,000 headshots. I think with the strategy I'm showing you, it's pretty reasonable to get over 1,000 headshots in a single game, which is pretty good going, so you only have to take 2 games to get all of those military camos unlocked. But it starts off with just getting used to firing enemies' heads. Some weapons like the LMGs, that's pretty easy. You can play around a little bit with whether you like using the tac stance laser, whether you like using a reflex sight or a zoomed in sight. Some weapons it's different to others. Shotguns can be a little bit inconsistent. Sometimes you'll miss the head, so I quite like with shotguns to aim a little bit over the zombies' heads, because then the spread will often end up killing them. And weapons like pistols and things like that just seem a little bit inconsistent to me. Lots of weapons, particularly the sniper rifles, but also the marksman rifles and some of the LMGs and assault rifles, it's also quite easy to get collateral, so you can start getting used to kind of lining up the zombies like I just did then, and then you'll get 2 kills with 1 bullet. For the first, I would say, 20 levels or so of your leveling, one of your biggest problems is going to be ammo. As soon as you start pack-a-punching weapons, ammo becomes incredibly expensive. I think it's 1,000 essence after you've done Pack-a-Punch 1, then 2.5 grand after Pack-a-Punch 2, and 5,000 for Pack-a-Punch 3. So yeah, it gets really expensive really fast. So you want to learn how to save ammo as best you can, and being able to get lots of headshots with 1 bullet is obviously a great way to save ammo. In these early rounds, I'd strongly suggest don't worry about training the zombies, just shoot them as you see them, because you're going to end up wasting loads of time if you spend ages training them. But speaking about wasting time, there are a few little things that aren't shooting zombies in the head that I think are quite useful. The Easter egg where you go and shoot all of the bowling shoes, you might see me do that. I quite like doing that, as well as hitting the vending machine every round, or at least every round that I'm in the area. And that's just because essentially I'm hoping to get a ray gun. The reason a ray gun's really useful is that as a secondary weapon, especially later on, when you're needing to deal with loads of manglers spawning and abomination spawning and stuff like that, it's super helpful to have an extra weapon that can help you to deal with those threats. So you can focus on just getting headshots on normal zombies and then take out the special zombies a little bit more easily. The vending machine and the bowling Easter egg are great just because they don't cost anything. They don't cost any essence. All they do is cost a little bit of time. And with the vending machine, I just do it when the rounds flip. And you can also get some other things that are useful out of this. Occasionally you'll get an Ethereum crystal, which will actually pack-a-punch your gun for free. Sometimes you'll get a free perk. And a lot of the time you'll get like free essence and salvage, which is super useful as you're going. Now, in these first rounds, what you don't need to do is worry about increasing the rarity of your gun. You're going to actually increase the rarity to blue for free using a side Easter egg in about 5 rounds from now. So on round 10, then you'll be able to get blue rarity, so you don't need to worry about wasting salvage upgrading that, which is super useful. I also wouldn't bother doing things like picking up... Oh, you see, I went down there. I think I was talking to chat and just got completely distracted. Bit embarrassing, but oh well. You also don't need to worry about buying armor, I wouldn't say, or any perks or anything like that. You really want to focus on getting Pack-a-Punch as quickly as possible. Now, there are 2 notable exceptions to this. The GS45 pistols and the LR762 sniper rifle, when you Pack-a-Punch them, they end up shooting explosives, and that makes getting headshots super difficult to do. So when you're leveling up those, when you're trying to unlock the camos for those, it's actually better not to Pack-a-Punch them at all. So just keep using them, keep increasing the rarity, because that just increases the damage without adding that explosive effect. Keep using them as normal, as long as you can still keep getting headshots on zombies fairly easily. And then once they get to the point where you can't get headshots on zombies anymore, or, you know, it takes too many shots to be worth it, then start doing the camo grind for another weapon in that same game. Just get a weapon off a wall buy or out of the mystery box, something like that. And then only use those weapons when you get insta-kills from then on, because insta-kills will still be one-shot headshots, so you can make loads of progress doing that. You just kind of need to do those weapons alongside something else. With the LR762, to be honest, it's not that bad. You saw me just pick up the second set of bowling shoes just there. With the LR762, it's not that bad because it's a one-shot headshot for an incredibly long time. You can go into quite high rounds with it, still getting those one-shot headshots. With the GS45s, it's much harder, but if you keep on doing it with insta-kill and you just kind of have them on you, you can also buy them as a secondary weapon in the spawning area in Liberty Falls, so it's super easy to just always have them about. then it's not too bad. The SVD is also a bit of a pain because it turns into a shotgun instead of a sniper rifle, so I kind of prefer to leave pack-a-punching that until you absolutely have to. You can still get headshots while it's a shotgun, it's just a little bit trickier. Anyway, in these first few rounds while you're running around, remember whenever you get a vermin round like this, as soon as you finish off the last vermin, you will get extra ammo, so you don't need to buy any. If you need to buy ammo at this point, it's not too bad because it's only 250 essence, don't worry too much. But in general, when you start the game, you just want to be getting as many headshots as you can. You'll probably be able to get about 80 to 100, I think, in the first 10 rounds. And it's just really, really good practice and gets you used to kind of how you need to aim and move to make sure you're reliably getting the headshots. You can see there, I just got a little group and I could kind of bob left and right while just shooting at the same height, and that meant I could shoot a bunch of them in the head at once. That's the strategy we're going to be using quite a lot, but in a specific place in a moment. So I normally wait until I've got about 10,000 essence, then I move up to the bowling alley. Remember that you can get an extra 100 essence for free just by going prone in front of each perk machine, and you can also get 100 by shooting these pool balls. That will give you a bunch. The zombies here line up quite nicely, so it's a nice opportunity to get a few more headshots. See that I got blocked from getting double points, which was kind of annoying. But once I've grabbed it, then I knew, okay, now I'm going to get over 10,000 essence, so that's going to be me sorted for a little bit. Again, you don't even need to worry too much about if you go down in these early bits. I did lose my self-revive from doing it, but it's not the end of the world. Like, you'll end up in this with more essence than you know what to do with, more salvage than you know what to do with, so just don't panic too much if you go down. You don't need to restart or anything like that. But unlock that, and then you can actually get the bowling shoes and the funeral home, which I nearly forgot just then, but you can just lean out over here and shoot those. Remember, the whole reason we're doing the bowling Easter egg is just to get the ray gun, just to try and get it as a reward. If you get any score in bowling, you've got a chance of getting a ray gun, but if you get over 300, you've got a pretty good chance. But here I just open all of the gates that go up to the church, and then keep on ducking down in front of some of the perk machines to get 100. And then, because I've got so much money, I can just go straight into the church and pack a punch immediately. If you're using a gun where ammo is a big problem, it's probably worth using up the ammo from the gun and then pack-a-punching when you run out of ammo, because that will refill all of your ammo. It refills your magazine and it refills all of the money that you've got in storage. Now this is where we're going to be spending a lot of our time. So in the graveyard, in the church, there's this little kind of long alleyway that goes down the side of the church, sort of between it and the graveyard. And this, for me, is the best place to start farming all of those critical kills, because you can end up grouping all the zombies together down at the bottom where all the cars are parked, then lead them up that alleyway, turn around, shoot them in the head, and then escape through the graveyard like this. There's also a couple of other neat little things that you can do around here that will make this much easier. So one of the things I'm doing here is just getting one zombie, leading him away a bit, and then actually put an energy mine down, which is a bit annoying, it kills him. But that's because I want to shoot these 5 cans. So you peer through here, and then if you can shoot all these 5 cans without taking too long and without missing, I can't remember if I did it on this time or not. It looks like it's going pretty well, better than my other video. There we go, first try. Then you get a free Deadshot Daiquiri perk, which is awesome for doing these challenges because it gives you extra critical damage. So you'll do extra headshot damage. And if you're using a controller, you've got a little bit of aim assist. That aim assist will get much stronger and actually lock onto the zombies' heads. So as soon as you press the left trigger, you'll end up aiming at the zombies' heads. Now, I've already got Pack-a-Punch 1, so I've decided to come and spend 4,000 essence to go get some armor here, just to make it a little bit easier to survive. I would say, and I completely forgot which bowling shoes I'd shot, I couldn't remember if I'd done these ones. I would say, in general, you don't necessarily need to get armor at this point, but there's some weapons, like the LMG, where because the magazine's so big, I end up shooting for absolutely ages into a horde of zombies, trying to get all of the headshots like this, and I often end up kind of pushing my luck a little bit. I often stop when I start getting hit a few times, and it's very easy to go down because of that. So picking up some armor a little bit earlier here just keeps me a little bit safer. Whenever you get double points, obviously, just try to make the most of it, because you are going to need a load of points just to keep on getting the pack-a-punches and stuff like that, and eventually get some better armor and get some perks and stuff, and you want to get all of that as early as possible just to make getting headshots as easy as possible. Now, as soon as it gets to round 10, you're going to do this Easter egg where you get a grenade or you get a Semtex, whatever, impact Molotov, and you throw it up at the top of the church to try and blow up that head on the spike. Normally, you just aim, like, I would say, quite a long way above it. It almost looks like you're aiming 10 feet above it. And then you should be able to, when you throw it, it should hit it. And once you do that, it will actually drop all of this essence down. It's dropping zombies out of the sky and they're exploding. But you'll get all of this essence. There's 1,000 essence in total. You'll often get a couple of kill streaks. Sometimes you can get something really good out of that, like a chopper gunner or something. You know, something you could use as an emergency button if you get stuck. But then the most important thing is that you're going to get a wrench. I just saw it on the left there, but I think I had to keep on running because there were zombies about. You can get that blue wrench, and that's going to increase the rarity of your weapon up to blue, which does a huge increase onto the amount of damage that you're putting out without you actually having to spend any salvage. And now I've still got 1,500 salvage, which means I'm probably going to be able to get the next upgrade, the purple upgrade, fairly quickly. You can see there I just switched to Ether Shroud. I think maybe I was doing a daily challenge to get the energy mine. So here is basically the strategy. You can see there I grouped up the zombies, then I turned around and I just got 24 critical kills in one burst. That's 24 headshots in one burst. Obviously, that's pretty efficient. That's pretty good going. I then decided to switch back to energy mine. Maybe I hadn't completed a daily. Oh yeah, I needed 50 kills of it to complete the daily, so that's why I did that. Now, around round 10 is probably a good time, if you haven't done it already, just to go and get that bowling Easter egg done. So by round 10, you really want to do the head on the spike. You have to do that around 10 to make sure you get a blue wrench and not a green wrench. Any round before round 10, you'll get a green wrench. And you want to get the Deadshot Daiquiri if you can, shooting those cans. It's a little bit tricky. It is a little bit hard, especially if you don't have a telescopic sight. That's why I've got a hybrid scope on this, so I can switch between telescopic and normal. And then it's a good idea sometime around now to do your first attempt at the bowling Easter egg. And obviously the bowling Easter egg, like I said, you've got a chance of getting some free perks, but you've also got a chance of getting a ray gun. So here you can see me doing a strategy again where I've tried to funnel all the zombies into one end of this church alleyway, and I can turn around, get loads of kills. I think that was 15 or so, 15 critical kills. Do bear in mind that while zombies are still spawning and while you're killing the zombies, some will start spawning behind you. So keep an eye on that mini-map in the top left just to see if there's any there. If you've got a really powerful weapon, like you've just pack-a-punched and you're doing it a bit early, then you can probably actually just shoot your way out of the end that you're shooting. You'll just clear all those zombies that can run out that end. If not, then you can just turn around and run up the stairs. Because normally you'll have Ether Shroud, normally you'll have a bit of armor. Oh, here you can see me going for the bowling Easter egg. That's where another pair of the shoes are. And now I can go do it. Because once you've got armor and then you've got Ether Shroud as well, it's fairly easy to get out of any bad situations for quite a while. So when you're doing a bowling Easter egg, you want to try and make sure that you've got over 300 points to have the best chance of getting a ray gun. I was thinking about doing a separate video showing people how to do well on the bowling, but let's just include it in this one as a nice little bonus. So you grab the bowling ball, and then what you want to do is hold right trigger as soon as you pick it up to charge it up. That means it'll be able to go through more than one zombie, and then you're just waiting for the zombies to kind of line up a little bit. You don't want to wait too long because you don't have very long to complete this. You don't have very long to get 300 points. So I normally just think, okay, as soon as I've charged it up, as soon as it feels like it's ready to hit more than one zombie, I then just look for the first possible opportunity where I'm going to get at least 2 zombies. Sometimes you're really lucky and you get 3 or 4 or 5, and that's absolutely awesome. Sometimes you mess it up and you just get 1 like I did there, or sometimes you don't get any at all. You just have to immediately go grab another ball and then give it another go. There is a bit of RNG in this, that the zombies, you know, sometimes they just don't line up very nice and it's really hard to get lots in a row, and sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll hit loads. As you're playing solo, unfortunately, that means there's going to be less zombies. So when you're playing by yourself, there's less zombies in this section because obviously you're not having other players to compete with. So that can make it a little bit trickier maybe. But on the plus side, you don't have teammates trying to steal all of your bowling ball kills. So anyway, you can see now I've got 50 seconds more and I'm only on 170, which makes it a little bit trickier. But I can see there's a big group of zombies up there, so I'm going to throw it through there, and that gets me 30, which is pretty good. So now I'm up to 200. One of the worst things I think you can do on this, oh, another 30, that's nice, is if you end up just waiting too long. You end up waiting too long to try and line them up perfectly, and all you're going to do is get maybe an extra 10 points with your throw, or you might still mess it up and then you've just wasted all that time. Whereas if you just keep on throwing it, you just keep on just going for it, yeah, sometimes you'll just get 10 points, but you will still keep on getting score. You'll get lots more opportunities. So there you can see I'm over 300, so I can just kind of relax now. I carry on playing, because you can get over 400 fairly easily in this, but you don't get any extra chance at rewards or anything like that. So just wait until the timer runs out, and then all of the zombies will disappear and Mr. Peaks will come back, and then he will present you with your fancy trophy. And if you've got over 300, you'll actually get a very fancy trophy. Again, it's not a big deal. If you don't get over 300, you've still got a chance of getting something good. Here, I interact with it, and you can see I get Hellstorm, but I also got a legendary Ether tool. And that's pretty great, because it means I don't have to spend any salvage on it. But now my LMG is going to do absolutely tons of extra damage, which is absolutely awesome. Anyway, let's skip ahead a little bit just to show you what this strategy is like on a further round, because essentially for now, I'm just doing the same thing, running around in front of the church, gathering a load of zombies together, and then trying to shoot as many of them in the head as I possibly can as they come down that alleyway. So here we are on round 23, a little bit later, and as you can see, there are a ton of zombies now. I'm still doing loads of damage because over time I've picked up level 3 Pack-a-Punch, you can see that at the bottom. I've also picked up a few perks, so I like getting Juggernog just to give you a little bit of extra survivability, especially because I'm using the LMGs. I've got Speed Cola so I can reload a bit faster, and I've got Stamina up so I can keep on moving a little bit faster while I'm doing all of this. Personally, I don't really bother with the other perks until 25 when the Wonder Fizz comes. They're just not that important to it. But you can see I'm doing the same kind of thing of just trying to run down this alleyway and kill as many as possible. Now, the Abomination you can see here is probably the biggest problem from doing this strategy, because the Abomination is super hard to kill. It doesn't open its stupid mouth enough where you can get the critical damage, and shooting it when you're not shooting it in the mouth just isn't really worth it. Luckily, I'd picked up an insta-kill there, so I think I've done a little bit of extra damage. But try to burn down the Abominations and the Manglers and things like that, basically whenever you have a moment. I try to do as much damage as I possibly can at the beginning of a round, and then if I ever see them standing alone when there's not too many zombies close to me, I'll turn around and shoot them a bit then. But mostly I pretty much ignore them until near the end of the round, then I can finish them off like I just did with that Abomination. If you've got something really good, so like you've got a fully Pack-a-Punched ray gun or something like that that you've managed to get from the side Easter eggs, then that can be really useful just to kind of use that at the beginning of the round or when you see them standing alone to try and hit as many as you possibly can. When you get vermin rounds like this one, annoyingly they do just take a long time. Like, that's just how it is. It's super frustrating. There's not a huge amount you can do about that. Here I'm just opening up some of the roots on the roof of the bank because this is where the Wonder Fizz machine's going to be. So it's nice to be able to come back here later on round 25, which is when that appears. But yeah, on the vermin rounds, it's really easy to get headshots, but it'll still be quite slow progress just because they take ages to spawn. It's just a really, really slow thing. It's a good opportunity to kind of catch your breath a little bit, run around, see if there's anything you need. So if you need to buy some perks or you need to rebuy a self-revive or something like that, vermin rounds are a good time to do that. And obviously at the end of a vermin round, you're going to get a max ammo. You can see here in the bottom right, I'm on pretty much my last magazine. I've got 21 extra bullets, so that's super useful. Now the good news is that once you get past around 25, ammo becomes much less of a problem, to be honest. And oh, you can see here I must have gone down at some point, so I'm just quickly going over to try and buy a self-revive myself. The reason it becomes less of a problem is because every time you kill a Mangler or an Abomination, they drop some ammo. So in the LMG's case, there's 100 bullets, which is pretty good. And you'll end up killing so many Manglers and so many Abominations that you kind of pretty much always have ammo. It's not too much of a problem. And once you've got all of the perks and you've got your Pack-a-Punch upgrades and everything like that, you don't really have anything else to spend essence on. So you'll end up having a bunch of essence, a bunch of money that you can spend on ammo, a bunch of ammo sitting on the ground from when you kill Manglers and Abominations that spawn every round, and it just kind of stops being a problem. So here you can see me grabbing that max ammo, and now because it's round 25, if you hear a weird sound, that's because the Wonder Fizz just spawned in up on the roof. For anyone who hasn't seen it before, the Wonder Fizz is a machine that appears on round 25 on both maps, Liberty Falls and Terminus, and you can buy any perk from there. That's super useful because on Liberty Falls there's actually no machine for Deadshot Daiquiri or Elemental Pop, so you kind of either have to get them from a side Easter egg or you have to wait until round 25 to get them out of that machine. Here I just bought PhD Flopper from here. I guess I couldn't be bothered to go to the bank roof, I'm not really sure. PhD Flopper I've got an augment on, which means I can sort of slide really far, which I really like. It makes it super effective. Anyway, there you can see me not shooting zombies at the beginning. I'm just waiting until they group up, and that's so then when they get down here, I can just kind of hold the trigger down all at one height and get loads of critical kills. And you can see them racking up there. I had 10 originally, and then there's another 15, so that was 25, 26 in that little burst. And then you just kind of run out, reload, wait until a few more spawn, because on these rounds there's going to be a load more. You can see a Mangler spawned there while I wasn't being attacked, so I thought just kill him really quickly. And then you're just kind of waiting for a few more to spawn, and then you can run back down into the alleyway, do exactly the same thing. Absolutely blast as many as you can, just holding down the trigger. And you can see there, so I'm on 12 plus another 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, so that's 30, 20. That's 32 in one magazine. So you end up getting insane amounts of progress. And this is kind of the really tricky thing about this entire strategy, and about the whole camo grind really, is that your best time to get the headshots is between rounds 20 and 30. That's because up until round 20, there's just not enough zombies. They don't spawn quickly enough, and there's not many in each round. And then after round 30, you're not really strong enough. Like, your weapons start falling off. Most weapons, most guns in the game start struggling, even with sort of normal armored zombies, at about round 30. So that means you've got this sweet spot of kind of 10 levels where you can do loads of damage because you've got triple pack-a-punch and you're on legendary rarity and you've got Deadshot Daiquiri and all of that. So you've got all of these kind of bonuses, but the enemies aren't getting too difficult, and there you can get absolutely loads of kills. Here I actually decided, I still don't have a secondary. I hadn't been lucky enough to get a ray gun with the side Easter egg, so I came down to check the GS45s, which are a wall buy down here. GS45s are one of the few guns that are still good past round 30. But annoyingly, even on round 25, the GS45 wall buy hadn't switched from blue rarity up to purple or even legendary. So I just thought, I might as well just wait and get that later. And decided to hit that and got some crackers instead, which was absolutely lovely. Just finishing a zombie to start another round. Now, obviously you don't need to wander around. I sort of do it because I get bored otherwise. You can just stay at church and do all of it. You can come down here and do the bowling Easter egg again if you want to. That's why I just shot those bowling shoes in the toilet. After you've done it once, you can actually do it twice more just by shooting those. They come back every, I want to say, about 5 rounds before they respawn, and then you can have another go at it and get another reward. Bizarrely, in this one, I actually ended up doing worse. You can see there I got 290 points. Didn't quite make 300, but then when I opened up the loot, I had a ray gun. So I got a ray gun from it, which is awesome. Ray gun's still pretty good. Even past round 30, it's not too bad. And at this point, you'll start having a ton of essence. So here, I can almost pack-a-punch it twice already. It takes 20,000 essence, and I'm on 19,500. So you can get it up to the point where, even at round 26, double pack-a-punch on a ray gun is still pretty good. Just make sure you've got PhD Flopper, because then you won't do damage to yourself with it. Now you can see here we're up to round 30, and this is where this method starts kind of struggling a little bit. And it's really just because of the armored zombies. A lot of the zombies you're fighting will be armored, and your guns, even if they're fully upgraded, won't do a lot of damage. You can see there I took a load of hits getting out, but I was fine. I picked up a max armor, so that recharged it. You just need to be a little bit careful when you're running past the zombies that you're not going to get killed. And if you get in trouble, just hit E for Shroud so you can get away again. And then you can just kind of run around a little bit, try and group them up, and then lead them back into the alleyway. Normally what I've started doing now is once we get to round 30 or so, I don't worry as much about surviving. I just try to get as many of them grouped up as I can. I try to get as many kills as I can, as quickly as I can, because at this point there are a lot of zombies and you can still probably get about 70 headshots per round, which is pretty good. But it's starting to be kind of diminishing returns, and at some point you're going to end up dying, and I don't think that's a massive problem. At that point it doesn't matter. I have had lots of people in chat asking me, what's the point of exfilling? Is it worth doing? I still don't know for sure. You definitely get some whimsical gobblegums which aren't useful. They just make zombies float up or fart a lot. But some people think that you get some extra XP for exfilling. Maybe you get some bonus XP, but the argument that I saw from a viewer today, which completely makes sense, is would you actually get more XP just by trying to fight for a little bit longer and seeing what round you can get up to, rather than bothering? I would say if you're just about to quit and it happens to be a round where there's an exfil available and you've got a kill streak, go for it. It doesn't take that long to do, but other than that, I wouldn't bother. This is an extra little tip. If you do run down this road, sometimes I just get a bit stuck up in the graveyard, so I run down here. If you're looking up at zombies coming down a hill to you, it's actually a little bit easier to get loads of headshots, especially if they take more than one shot to kill them in the head, like they do on these later rounds. And that's basically because if you're aiming up at the zombies, any times that you miss, so any times that you sort of go wrong with your shots are likely to go over the heads of the zombies rather than into the bodies of the ones behind them. So you're not going to accidentally get a bunch of kills that aren't headshots. So it's quite nice if you can find a place like this hill, where you're just shooting at them as they come down a hill. That's a lot easier. The worst situation is to be shooting them as they come up a hill, because then any shots that aren't headshots will end up going into the zombies' bodies. And even if you do get headshots, you'll end up shooting the zombies' bodies behind them. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for sticking with me throughout this half-an-hour video talking about this. I think it's really interesting trying to make this as efficient as possible. If you've got any other tips on how to make it efficient, let me know in the comments below. I've been able to, by the time you get up to around 31 or so, I can get about 1,000 critical kills, which is pretty good because you need 2,000 for each weapon. So I can just do this twice, and then I've got it all done. And then when you unlock the special challenges, if it's something like get so many kills without reloading, or getting loads of kills using brain rot, something like that, it's super easy to do just because you've got loads of zombies anyway. Even if it's like kill 10 manglers, you've now got, you can see here I had 3 manglers spawn in front of me. You get multiple manglers at a time. When you're trying to complete the opal challenges where you have to kill 30 bloody manglers, it's an absolute pain having to do that. Once you get up to around round 30, you're going to be getting, I would say sometimes like 5 or 6 manglers per round, which means you only need to complete like 5 rounds to get it done. It sounds like a nightmare when you're in the lower rounds and you only get like 1 mangler every other round, but you end up getting absolutely tons of them. So when you're trying to do those opal camos, just get up to around 30. Maybe even, leveling up another weapon, doing the camos for another weapon until you get there, but make sure you've got a fully upgraded version of the weapon you want to do the opal challenge for, and then just kill all of the manglers as they appear. Hopefully that helped you. If it did, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's a bunch more zombies content coming. Obviously, we've got a new map in Season 1 Reloaded, and we've got some new Warzone stuff happening at the beginning of Season 1, which I'm really excited about, with Area 99. Of course, I'll be looking for Easter eggs and secrets and all of that kind of stuff. So turn the notifications on, and I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.